we're going to use the following two functions, f of x being absolute value of x and g of x being 3x minus 5, to calculate the following four compositions. So we'll start with the first one, the f circle g of x composition. So this is the same as f of g of x. So we'll start by remembering that g of x is the same as 3x minus 5. So instead of this g of x symbol, we're going to put 3x minus 5 expression. So you end up with f applied to 3x minus 5. So this f being next to this parenthesis, it's not multiplication, it's the function notation. So what it really does, it asks you to use substitution. So the formula for f is f of x equals absolute value of x. So to find that value, what you're going to do, you're going to take the formula, absolute value of x, and you're going to replace x with whatever expression you have there. This is 3x minus 5 that you have. So, and if you replace x with 3x minus 5, you end up with absolute value of 3x minus 5. And just using one and the same color, it's absolute value of 3x minus 5. So that's the final answer for the first composition. Now if we look on the second composition, it's g applied to f of x, or g circle f of x. So this is the same as g of f of x. So we start inside out, so the innermost function is f of x, and the formula for that is that f of x is the same as absolute value of x. So replacing that with absolute value of x, we end up with g applied to absolute value of x. And now we use that the formula for g is 3x minus 5. So what this g of absolute value of x really means is that you take the formula, 3x minus 5, and you replace x with absolute value of x. So when you do that, you end up with 3 times absolute value of x minus 5. And if you use the same color, that's the answer, 3 times absolute value of x minus 5. So let me just write it using the blue color. So this is the same as 3 times absolute value of x minus 5. So moving on to the third composition. So this could look tricky. So it's f circle f of x. So this is f applied to f of x. So how to unravel that? Well, you start with the innermost. So f of x is the same as absolute value of x. So what you're looking at is the innermost function get replaced by absolute value of x. So you have f applied to absolute value of x. Now you use the same formula again. So f of x is absolute value of x. So what you do this time, so you take this formula, absolute value of x, and replace x with absolute value of x. What you end up with absolute value of x inside of another absolute value. So, and since double absolute value doesn't do anything new, you end up with just absolute value. Because absolute value just gets rid of the negative sign, so if you do it twice, it's the same as doing it once. Anyways, so for the function g of x, so this is g applied to g of x, and g of x by itself is 3x minus 5. So we're going to take away the innermost function and replace it with 3x minus 5. So looking on g of 3x minus 5. And then we're going to use again the formula for g of x. So it's the same 3x minus 5. But this time we're going to take this 3x minus 5 and replace x with 3x minus 5 yet again. So what we end up with 3 multiplied by 3x minus 5 expression, and then subtracted 5. So to simplify, you just distribute 3 over, you end up with 9 minus 15 minus 5. So it's the same as 9x minus 20. We're going to use the following two functions, f and g, to calculate the following four compositions. So we have f of x being 2 over x, and g of x being 3x minus 5. Let's calculate f of g of x, this f circle g of x. So this is the same as f of g of x, and you replace the innermost function first. So the innermost function is g of x, and the formula for that is 3x minus 5. So we're looking on f applied to 3x minus 5. And so now the formula for f of x is 2 over x. So this f applied to 3x minus 5 is the same as 2 over x, with x replaced by 3x minus 5. So we end up with 2 over 3x minus 5. And in all blue color, that's the same 2 over 3x minus 5. So that's the first composition. Now to find the second composition, this is g of f of x. So you replace the innermost function first. You get g of 2 over x, since f of x is the same as 2 over x. And now you use the fact that g of x is the same as 3x minus 5. So this g applied to 2 over x is the same as expression 3x minus 5 with x replaced by 2 over x. And when you do that, you end up with 3 multiplied by 2 over x, all of that minus 5. So if you distribute 3 over 2 over x, you end up with 6 over x minus 5. That's the result of the second composition. So for the third composition, we're looking on f applied to f of x. So the innermost expression is f of x, which is the same as 2 over x. So you do that once. And now you use the fact that this outer function f is also equal to 2 over x. So this f applied to 2 over x is equal to the formula 2 over x with x replaced by 2 over x. Okay, so you end up with this fraction 2 over the fraction 2 over x. So to simplify that, you turn this main fraction line into division. So it's the same as 2 divided by 2 over x. And to divide by 2 over x is the same as multiply by a reciprocal of that, which is x over 2. So you have 2 multiplied by x over 2. And that simplifies to straight up x. So f applied to f of x ends up being x, which is really cool. Now, if you look on g applied to g of x, so this is g of x. So we're going to be using the formula for g. The innermost function, which is g of x, this is the same as 3x minus 5. So looking on g applied to 3x minus 5. Use again the fact that g is the same as 3x minus 5. And this is really the same as this formula, 3x minus 5, with x being replaced by 3x minus 5. So you have 3 times 3x minus 5 minus 5. And when you do distribute 3, you're looking on 9x minus 15 minus 5, which simplifies to 9x minus 20.